Right now, parked somewhere on your street, there's a diesel vehicle slowly dying, and the owner has no idea. The warning light has come on, the engine has gone into limp mode, and a dealership somewhere is already preparing an invoice for £1,500 for a blocked DPF filter, a problem that a $3 bottle of liquid from any auto parts store can fix in under 5 minutes. The automotive industry has spent the better part of 2 decades making sure you never found out about this. Today, that changes. The villain in this story has a name, and it is the Dealership Service Network, a system that has quietly turned the diesel particulate filter into one of the most profitable upsells in automotive history. Every year, hundreds of thousands of diesel vehicle owners across the UK and the United States hand over between $1,000 and $2,000 to have a component cleaned, regenerated, or outright replaced. A component that, in the vast majority of cases, is not damaged at all. It is simply clogged. And a clog is not a mechanical failure. A clog is a chemistry problem. And chemistry problems have chemistry solutions. The automotive aftermarket industry has known this for years. Independent mechanics who stumbled onto this fix have been quietly using it on their own vehicles for decades. But the dealership service model depends on you not knowing. It depends on you seeing that warning light, panicking, and booking your car in for a diagnostic that costs $80 before they even lift the hood. You have been robbed, not by one dealership, not once, but systematically every time that filter warning came on. But that changes today. By the time this is finished, you will know exactly what a DPF filter is, why it blocks, and precisely how a substance that costs less than a cup of coffee dissolves the blockage permanently. Not temporarily, not partially, but completely. You will know where to buy it, what to look for on the label, and how to use it step by step without a single tool or any mechanical experience. And I will also show you the one mistake that makes this entire method fail. A mistake that almost everyone makes the first time. Stay with me, because what comes after that mistake is the part the industry really does not want you to know. The diesel particulate filter was not invented by the automotive industry. It was developed in the early 1980s by researchers studying urban air pollution in West Germany and later in California, where smog regulations were tightening faster than engine technology could adapt. The original filter was a simple ceramic matrix, a honeycomb structure designed to trap the carbon soot particles that diesel engines produce during combustion. The technology worked. In controlled settings, it reduced particulate emissions by over 90%. By the early 2000s, as Euro emission standards tightened across Europe and EPA regulations closed in across the United States, every major diesel manufacturer was forced to fit one. Here's where the story changes. The filter works by trapping soot. Every few hundred miles, under normal driving conditions, the vehicle's engine management system triggers what is called a regeneration cycle. It injects extra fuel, raises the exhaust temperature to over 600 degrees Celsius, and burns the accumulated soot away. It is elegant. It is automatic. And under the right conditions, it works indefinitely. But here is what the manufacturers knew from the very beginning, and what they disclosed only in the finest print of the owner's manual. Short urban journeys prevent regeneration from completing. Stop-start city driving, the kind that the majority of diesel owners do every single day, means the filter never gets hot enough, never burns clean, and slowly, inevitably, fills up with a layer of compacted carbon ash that no regeneration cycle can touch. And this is where it gets interesting. By 2009, independent European automotive researchers working outside the manufacturer networks had already identified a specific chemical compound that could dissolve compacted DPF soot at ambient temperature without heat, without pressure, and without removing the filter from the vehicle. Their findings were published in trade journals. They were quietly ignored. Because a problem that costs $3 to solve is a problem no one in the dealership network wants solved. Stay with me, because the next part changes everything. What I am about to show you is the specific part the industry spent over a decade making sure you would never find out. Not the product name, the reason it works. Because once you understand why it works, you will never pay for a DPF clean again. Not today, not 10 years from now. The solution is called DPF Regeneration Additive, specifically a cerium oxide or iron-based fuel-borne catalyst additive. You will find it under brand names like Forte Advanced Formula DPF Cleaner, Liqui-Moly Proline DPF Regenerator, or Wins DPF Regenerator. All of them, at their core, contain the same active chemistry. And here's the science in 30 seconds, because it matters. Diesel soot is not simply carbon. Compacted aged DPF soot is a hardened matrix of carbon particles bonded with unburned hydrocarbons and metallic ash. The reason a standard regeneration cycle cannot clear a severely blocked filter is simple. The soot layer is too thick to reach combustion temperature from the outside in. It insulates itself. What the cerium and iron catalyst compounds do is lower the ignition temperature of the carbon itself from over 600 degrees Celsius down to below 450. That means even a partial regeneration cycle at normal motorway driving temperatures is now hot enough to ignite and burn the blockage completely. The filter does not need to be removed. It does not need to be sent to a specialist. The chemistry does the work from inside the fuel system, and the exhaust does the rest. Think of it this way. Trying to burn a wet log with a candle produces nothing. But coat that log with a fire accelerant, and the same candle turns it to ash. That is precisely what cerium oxide does to compacted DPF soot. Most people stop here. They buy the product, pour it in, and wonder why nothing happened. The answer is the one mistake. Do not stop reading. If you're watching this channel for the first time, what you are seeing here is not opinion. It is documented, sourced, and field-tested information that the automotive service industry spends considerable effort burying. Join the people who already know this. The subscribe button is right there. Here is the exact method. Step 1. Check your fuel level. The additive needs to be mixed with a minimum of 15 to 20 liters of diesel to work at the correct dilution. If your tank is nearly empty, fill it first. This is non-negotiable. A concentrated dose of this product sitting in a near-empty tank can damage fuel injectors, and that is a genuine repair bill. Fill the tank to at least the quarter mark before you do anything else. Step 2. Shake the bottle. This matters more than the label suggests. The cerium or iron particles in these products are denser than the carrier fluid, and they settle. If you pour without shaking, you are pouring mostly solvent, and the active chemistry stays at the bottom of the bottle. Step 3. Pour the entire bottle into your fuel tank before you fill up with diesel. Not after, before. You want the incoming diesel to mix and agitate the additive as the tank fills. Pour, then pump your diesel on top of it. Step 4, and this is the critical one, the step that almost everyone skips. Drive at sustained motorway speed for a minimum of 20 to 30 minutes immediately after filling up. Not city driving, not stop-start, sustained speed. The goal is to raise your exhaust temperature high enough for long enough to trigger and complete a full regeneration cycle. The additive has lowered the ignition threshold of the soot. Your job is to supply the heat. Without this step, the chemistry works, but the regeneration never fires. The soot dissolves chemically but has nowhere to go. Get on a motorway. Keep the revs above 2,000 for 30 minutes. Let the exhaust do its work. Step 5. If your DPF warning light is already illuminated before you begin, do not clear it with an OBD reader beforehand. Leave it on. The light tells the engine management system that a regeneration is overdue, and that urgency causes the system to trigger a longer, hotter regeneration cycle than it would under normal conditions. You want that extended cycle, it is your ally. One warning. If your DPF warning has escalated to a solid red light or combined warning with an engine management light, your filter may be beyond the passive regeneration threshold. In that situation, this additive alone will not complete the job. You will need a forced regeneration cycle, something any independent mechanic can perform for $20 to $30 with a diagnostic tool. After that forced cycle, the additive works precisely as described for all future maintenance. Before this wraps up, there is one more thing about this solution that almost nobody talks about, and it is worth staying for. These cerium and iron catalyst additives do not just clear existing blockages. Used every 10 to 15,000 miles as a preventative measure, they prevent severe blockage from ever occurring in the first place. The regeneration cycles happen more completely, more frequently, and at lower temperatures, which also reduces the thermal stress on the DPF substrate itself. Vehicles that use this additive preventatively have been documented to run DPF filters well beyond 200,000 miles without replacement. The industry-quoted lifespan of a DPF filter is 100,000 miles. The gap between those two numbers is not engineering. It is profit margin. Consider what this looks like in real money. A dealership DPF clean, the process where they remove the filter, send it to a specialist bath cleaning facility, and reinstall it, costs between £800 and £1,500 in the UK, and between $900 and $1,800 in the United States. The labor alone, at dealership rates, accounts for 4 to 6 hours of build time. The actual cleaning, done with ultrasonic or chemical bath methods at the specialist facility, costs the dealership between $80 and $150 wholesale. They are charging you 12 times what they pay. And they are doing it for a problem that, in the majority of cases, has not yet reached the point where specialist cleaning is even necessary. Compare that to this. A bottle of Liqui-Moly DPF regenerator costs approximately $7 to $9 at any auto parts retailer. A bottle of Win's DPF regenerator is available for under $6 online. Forte's version sits at around $8. All three use the same fundamental active chemistry. All three, used correctly with the sustained motorway drive, clear a moderately blocked DPF completely within one regeneration cycle. The before and after is not subtle. Drivers report immediate recovery from limp mode within 40 minutes of the motorway run. The warning light extinguishes. Power returns. Fuel economy, which drops noticeably when a DPF is blocked, recovers to normal within 2 to 3 tanks of fuel as the engine management system relearns its fuel mapping. One driver in Leeds reported recovering from a DPF warning that 2 dealerships had quoted him £1,200 to fix. Total cost of the actual solution, £6.49, and a 30-minute run up the M1. That is not an anomaly. That is the standard result when the correct chemistry is applied correctly. The DPF filter is not a fragile component. It is not a consumable. It is a ceramic matrix engineered to last the lifetime of the vehicle, if it is maintained correctly. The reason so many of them fail prematurely, the reason so many owners face 4-figure repair bills before their vehicles reach 100,000 miles, is not a design flaw. It is a maintenance gap that the industry has deliberately left unfilled, because filling it costs them billions of dollars per year in service revenue. This fix works, the chemistry is documented, the results are reproducible. And the fact that you have never seen it on the front page of any automotive publication, never heard it mentioned by any manufacturer, and never been told about it at any service desk should tell you everything you need to know about who the automotive service industry is actually working for. But here's what you need to sit with after this video ends. The DPF is only one piece of a much larger picture. Because the same diesel engine that produces the soot that blocks your filter is also producing something else, something that accumulates not in the exhaust system, but inside the engine itself. Something that, left unaddressed, causes damage that no additive can reverse. The repair bill for that problem does not start at £1,000. It starts at $4,000. And the window to stop it is much, much shorter than most drivers realize. What is it? That is a question worth asking yourself tonight. Because the answer is the one thing dealerships are even more reluctant to discuss than the DPF.